My name is Gary McDonald, and I played Fireman Lewis. As I remember, it was at LWT, and I went there for, I think, like it was just an initial, I can't remember if it was I think it was an initial interview. And then after that, I went back again and I met director and Paul Knight. And Paul Knight was one of the producers. And they had me read, and then they had me improvise a little bit. And then next minute I got a telephone call from my agent telling me that I'd got the job. Yes, my character's nickname was Ethnic. Right, so I played, like I said, Fireman Lewis, Ethnic, and he was the only black officer, only a black fireman, and he had a little bit of a racist sort of banter that was going on with one of the other characters, which was Vaseline, played by Mark Arden. So we had a bit of laugh going back and forth with that. He was also in a band, as I remember rightly, yes, a little bit called November 1. And he lived on an estate. It was fun. I really enjoyed playing that character. I mean, you know, when we was doing all the training, or even when we was on film shooting, you know, the director said, "Well, who's going to be putting this fire?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it." You know, I just loved playing the fireman. It was, you know, it was exciting, and it was a good gig, a really good gig. Absolutely, it was my very first major role, and because it was surprising, really, because as I said, as I got cast, they cast me, and I don't even think I read the full script yet. And when I read the full script and realized it was my characters and the female character played by Kath Rogers' story for the movie. So it was almost like I was the leading actor in the movie. Obviously, you know, he has his demise, which meant I didn't go on to be in the series. But as a standalone film, it was just such an amazing opportunity. So I really, really loved it, you know. It was great. There was, I remember, I think there was 10 of us, and we all got on really, really well together. A few of us really loved playing football. I think there was I think Mark Arden played. Who else played? Jimmy Hazeldine. He was really into football. You know, the late Jimmy Hazeldine, such a great guy and a wonderful actor. Jerome Philin, he played as well. Yeah, so we played football a lot of the times in between. I think this was more when we were doing the training, because we trained, I think, for 2 weeks. The training was great as well, really good. But yeah, we played like five-a-side, kickabout, and I remember one of the training sessions. What they did is that they kind of played a prank on you. There was this sort of thing where they like a smoke chamber, and you had on a gas mask, and they let you creep through. It's like a tunnel, and then you'd go in, and as you go in this smoke-filled tunnel with all the breathing apparatus, one of the instructors would kind of lock the door to see how you panic, because he didn't tell you he was going to do it, but he kind of closed the door, and then you'd kind of freak out a little bit, and then he'd let it open. But it was it was a fun experience. I think that I think it was really interesting that that obviously my character dies in the movie, and all throughout the movie, you know, there's this banter going on, sort of this where they, you know, between him and Vatanen. And I remember the charisma character played by Gerard Horan. At the time when I get the slab of pavement, the slab of concrete on my head that kills me, he rushes down and he's really moved. He's really moved by that. And I think that emotionally the audience really felt for my character, and as did all the firemen. So irrespective of how they were getting on, there was a bond between them, you know. And I think that was one of the first times you could see that kind of emotion between white and a black character. So I think it was one of the first times. It was quite cool. Jimmy, he played Tate, didn't he? He was another one. He was great. No, I really, I got on well with Jimmy. He was, like I said, they were all sound, and he was great. I think he did quite a bit of theatre, if I remember rightly. But yeah, he was cool. He was cool. And at that time, I was doing quite a bit of theatre as well. So you know, we had a bit in common there. I think I fell into acting really because I was playing football. I used to play for Wimbledon, played for the youth and then the reserve team. And so my ambitions was to be a footballer. And I think at the time, Wimbledon, I think, just got promoted from the fourth to the third division. And the manager, he said to me that, oh, I really love the way you've been playing, it's been great and everything like that. But we can't sign you on I was about 18, so they couldn't sign me on as as an apprentice because I was a little too old, and they couldn't sign me on as a part-time pro because they thought that I wouldn't get that many games. So they put me at a non-league side to see how I developed from there. But I took that as a knockback, you know. So I thought, oh, wow, but you know, at that time I can't get into Wimbledon. Well, blimey, I might as well do something else. That's how I felt. And then I met a friend of mine on the train. This was actually during the summer when football wasn't happening, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, he's going to this theatre workshop." And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And he said, "It's like, you know, they're doing like a play, and you should come down there, you know." And when I was at school, I did enjoy doing plays and stuff. So I thought, all right, let me go down. That time I was around about 17, and I went down to the Royal Court Theatre Activists, and I auditioned for a small part in the play that they was doing called Hard Time Pressure. And one of them, as we were rehearsing, one of the lead guys dropped out, and the director gave me that role. The director was a guy named Gerald Chapman, great guy. He's also passed away. And so we did this play, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. And that particular play was set in the Harrow Road, and it was about the black youths on the Harrow Road getting harassed by the police, and in particular, a black policeman. And I played that policeman. So it was a really cool little play. And then they just, at that time, it was, we had the riots just happened in Bristol, around about 1980 this was. And they were deciding to take the play around to Bristol, you know, but at that time, like I said, I enjoyed doing theatre, but I didn't see it as a career. So much so that when it was taking the play on the tour to Bristol, I said, no, mate, I'm going on holiday to Spain. So I went on holiday with my mates to Spain, and I didn't do it. But during that run, before the play went to Bristol, a director came and said that he really liked my performance, and said if he's doing a film, and would I be interested in it? And I said, yeah. And so while I was doing that play, that film, sorry, I really loved being in that environment. And I thought, wow. And I had an epiphany. I thought, well, this is it. This is what I want to do. and from then on, I just went on and got myself an agent and started developing, and so yeah, that's how I started. I remember it. I think we did a lot of shooting in and around Deptford, maybe. I know it was around. It was, well, the fire station was called Blackwall, so it was around all that kind of area, Isle of Dogs, and all of that kind of stuff. I can't remember what the fire station was called, but because it was a real fire station, I can't remember what it was called, but it was fictionalized as Blackwall. And as I said, we shot around Deptford. And I remember one particular thing was when I think it was Vaseline was getting married, and it was the first when we was doing the scene of him being married, and they said his name, and when he said his name, although we all knew it, we just all burst out laughing within the scene, and they kept it. We didn't know they was going to keep that particular shot, but they kept it, you know. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that show. Thankfully, no. I do remember my mum saying that when I was about 2 years old, that they used to have those paraffin heaters, and I think I maybe knocked it over, caused a little fire, but it got put out, but there was a lot of smoke. And I just have this memory of crawling around in smoke. So there was no burning or anything like that, but I just have that memory. And when I asked my mum about it, she told me what had happened with this paraffin heater. So that's as near as I came to it, thank God. Okay, first of all, I think the movie, you know, for its time, you know, it was dealing obviously with race relations, but I think my character gave as good as he got. You know what I mean? So there was a parallel on that level there, and so I kind of felt, in fact, I felt fortunate, and also I think it was a time. This was I think it was around '86 when we filmed it. So it was all after all there was a lot of unrest in the country, particularly with how Black people were being treated by the police. You know, I'd had even situations myself when you're driving a car, having a decent, I was a Capri, and being stopped 4 times on the way to the West End one evening, in the same night. That was pre the Brixton riots. So I'd faced that kind of situation with the police and stuff. And so when that happened, I think, you know, it informed the writer, Jack Rosenthal, and he wrote that into the script. And because, you know, this is such a great writer, for one, and it was depicting, you know, a bit of what was happening at the time. Yes, I met, I cannot remember his real name, but I think his name was Saracen. I think he was an actual gladiator, but I can't remember his real name. Mike, I think, but he was Saracen. And I met him, and he was an actual firefighter before he became a gladiator. And but other than that, I think probably along the way I went to a few functions that I can't remember, where I'd met Black firemen and stuff, and they all felt that it was authentically portrayed. And you know, that time I was, you know, really enjoyed being a fireman. It's one of those things that if I wasn't football, if I wasn't acting, I'd probably be a fireman. You know, it was one of those things. You know, because I did enjoy doing it, and felt that I was good at it. You know. Costume and makeup. That was very simple because I think was wearing blues, t-shirt, pants, and that was most of I think that was most of the costumes he was wearing, except when we were outside. And because I had an outside life, which the movie portrayed or showed, was me wearing I don't know, stuff within the band, when I was playing in the band. So on that level, I can't be distinctive. And makeup was just, I don't really have any makeup. I just have a little bit of anti-shine and that's it, and I'm good to go. But what I remember Les Blair allowed me to do was to show, because at that time I had my hair cut really, really short, but it had little waves in it. And how to get those waves, we used to wear what they call a do-rag or a stocking cap. And so what I did in the movie is, because obviously you go to bed and that's the time you wear your stocking cap. And he allowed me to do all of that, use a bit of pomade, put it on the hair, put the stocking cap on before he goes to bed. And he used it so that the new female officer, Kath Rogers, noticed and watched him doing this, going through this sort of routine, taking his time, doing his hair, putting the cap on. So, it was, I enjoyed all of that because he was really into improvisation, and he allowed me to do all this sort of stuff, to bring in the type of things that we would do at home, and probably to educate a white audience that don't know that that's the type of things that we do. Well, I did all the firefighting myself. I mean, putting out the fires. There were fires that they mock up that we would be putting out, and I'd always put my hand up to do them. So much so that sometimes, oh God, I better make somebody else have a go, because I enjoyed it, Not really, but not through not wanting to. It's just a case, life goes on, I guess. But and I remember, I think Mark and maybe Jimmy, they used to come and watch me play football, because at that time I think I was playing down at Dulwich Hamlet, like in the non-league football, and they'd come and watch me play. They even came down and watched me play while we were actually filming. So, and for a while, I sort of kept in. I'd go and see maybe Mark when he used to be on the comedy circuit. So I think I went and see a couple of his shows, and then you just drift in. Life just consumes you, and you go in other directions. I just remember this. I do remember the slinging of the food scene. I just remember filming the scene, and how much fun that was, and with me and Mark teasing each other, and then him throwing the plate of food at me, and I'm dodging out the way. But that was quite fun filming that. And another memories, another memory was, and I think it's from the movie, but I just remember filming that, and that was, I think he was putting out a fire in a garden, and at the time we're putting the fire out, Mark's character Vaseline, I think is sneaking off, because I think he got familiar with the ladies whose house we was putting out. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was something like that, and that was quite funny filming that and all. Yeah. So as I was saying, we had I think 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks training down at Southwark Fire Station, and we're going every day, I think, and I think maybe a couple of times we stayed overnight and actually went out on some shouts. So we had that experience. It was great. It was, it's one of them great jobs where it's very rare that you get to do the training. I mean, I did a TV show called Thief Takers. well, a long time after that. And we did some training there as well. And it always helps when you can have a feel of whatever the character's job is, and you could get to go out and experience it. Because it's very seldom that you get that opportunity because of tight budgets and whatsoever. So you never get that kind of opportunity to go out and experience whatever job your character's doing. And London's Burning was playing like that. They really was going for authenticity. So they let us have that experience. And I'm telling you, for that time period, I think it might have been, I don't even know how long the job was. It maybe it was 8-10 weeks, I suppose. I can't remember. But all in all, I think it was about that with the training and then shooting. And it was really good because you just felt the part, and that all that training really helps. Okay, well, I'm an actor, I suppose everybody is, and you know, it's I'm sort of a jobbing actor, get a job, then I'm working, so on and so forth. And at the moment, I'm in LA and working on a project called A Miracle Before Christmas. And in fact, it's just come in from the shoot. Yeah, and in that I play well, the story basically is about, it's a bit like a Wonderful Life type story. And in it, I play a character equivalent to the Nick character in A Wonderful Life. He's a barman, and he's really nice in the regular world, and in the alternative world, he's this horrible person. And it's a really nice family movie. So that's what I'm doing at present now. And we're on our, I think probably around about 8th day of shooting for about 25 days. So yeah, there I am. It's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure. It's great that you're doing this. I think it's, I missed out on doing the series. And it's funny enough because when the series was going to happen, at the time when they did the movie, it was just a movie. There wasn't even, as far as I knew, talk of it being a pilot. And then I call it the pilot because it became a series. And when they knew they were going to be doing the series, they said, yeah, I remember Paul Knight said, Gary, we're really going to try and get you back into this, get you back into the series. We're going to do that. And then all of a sudden there was a TV show called Dallas. And one of the characters, JR's brother, Bobby, he previously died, and they brought him back through the shower. And so because of that happening, they said, that's just, look, people will just think that they're ripping off that particular idea of bringing a character back. So they decided not to. I wish they did, because I would have loved to have done it. And I think it probably went on for about 10 years or maybe more, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Do you know how long it went on? I think it went on for quite a bit. Anyway, life goes on, doesn't it?